You are live.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday, November 10th Building Committee of the Little Compton School Committee. If you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're here for an update on stage 2 of the Wilbur McMahon School Education Facility Master Plan. A little script here. We have, I am not going to be able to say your last name. I'm sorry. We have Rick Colavecchio from Studio J. He is presenting this evening. Phil Conti has an unexpected conflict. There's no action items. Do you want me to read this or just for my?
That's fine.
Okay, there's no action items this evening, but there should be some good conversation and discussion regarding the proposed projects and preliminary prioritization. Phil will be presenting the same presentation to Town Council on the 18th.
That's correct.
Okay, take it away, Rick.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me again. Phil, apologize for not being able to be here. I did hand out, this is going to be coming at the end. So just it's basically a ranking activity of the priorities that you'll see as we go through. So I just want to give you an update of where we are in the process. Oh, that's not good. Try this again. Try this again. Yeah.
Is it not loading?
It was just working, but now it's not doing.
It's advancing.
It's totally locked up.
Ooh.
There we go. Let's see if this. Beautiful.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Right, so the agenda is to just take you to the updates on RIDE 2, and then community engagement activities that we did have. We're going to propose a scope of work, and then we've got some prioritization activities for you. We've gone through some of these items already. We've discussed the housing aid reimbursement. Housing aid is 35%. Some incentives are available. We did submit the RIDE stage 1, the needs assessment, and that was approved. And now we're in the stage 2, the solutions for a February 15th submission. Why is that?
Rick, we have a mask mandate.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know if you could hear me through this.
You have a good booming voice.
So far, we've done a conditions assessment. We've had some administrative interviews, some workshops. We gathered some data, and then community engagements. So just as far as our schedule, see if I can go back to.
Is there a way to maximize that, perhaps?
Guys, this is acting up.
Yeah, you're choosing present, but yeah. We can still see it.
So okay, so the schedule that we've been trying to work towards is the February 15th ride submission, the stage 2. So we've set some scheduled meetings. So today's the presentation to the school committee to solicit input. Like was mentioned, Phil will make a presentation next week to the town council, basically a similar presentation. So the ride submission, again, we submitted the stage 1 that was approved, and we're getting ready to submit. All this information is part of the stage 2 submission. So for our facilities assessment, basically we've gathered a bunch of information, and part of it was the 10-year needs as far as deferred maintenance, which there are items here. I think this basically totals maybe 2.3 million of building envelope, interior finishes, plumbing, HVAC, fire protection, electrical, and site work. So again, this is just deferred maintenance items that will be needed in the next 10 years. And some capital improvements. Basically the acoustical ceilings, air conditioning, and then some roadway work. This really doesn't give us everything that we want. These are things that basically need to be done. So we need to basically set projects scope, the sizes of the project, and then programming needs. And this is all trying to be responsible, be innovation, but be responsible innovation. Because then we're on the other side of the balance, we need to take a look at the funding limits and the debt ceilings, logistical constraints, and then other needs that the town may have.
Eric, can we go back to the capital improvements for a minute? So we got $4.3 billion for air conditioning. Is that air conditioning or is that conditioned air?
I'm assuming it's air conditioning this is for the entire, this would be for the entire school that will be needed. It's probably some upgrades, but will be needed in the next 10 years.
What's the difference between air conditioning and conditioned air?
Well, conditioned air, well, air conditioning is basically, cooling all the air.
Yeah.
And then conditioned air just maybe not recirculating, but bringing fresh air in, but not necessarily conditioning at all.
But it brings the
Circulation,
Definition
circulation and ventilation.
different.
brings the temperature down. Or it adjusts the temperature when you use the conditioned air, I guess, in terms of cooling.
That's correct. That's how I would.
Because we did that in Lincoln. We didn't do air conditioning, we did conditioned air.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's a differential in terms of the cost on that.
And Phil had sent me another slide today where the sort of supersedes these that we're seeing today. Is there?
Right. We just.
Oh, okay,
we're
yes.
just Going through what our facilities assessment came back. When we looked at the building for an assessment of.
This was the sort of pie in the sky high hopes.
This is just the, capital improvements that will be needed for the next 10 years, but we have a 5-year to a 7-year plan. Is basically what this priority list is going to.
That's what he sent, yes.
So community engagements, hate to go here, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. Well, I guess not. Where we basically went through and showed different images of different spaces and what people felt comfortable with, the strengths and challenges of the building itself. So we did a lot of that. I do have another presentation here. I need to go through that and not come up there. No, why is that come up?
Is it hung up again? Could be. I'm wondering if Jonathan, I'm wondering if Rick should download it on his local?
Yeah, I could always. work out.
Yeah, I do have a flash drive, but this is on my laptop, so
Oh, it is a,
it is on my laptop.
okay.
So for some reason, we don't have a great connection.
Is it the casting that's?
It just looks like the program's frozen.
Yeah, I think so. I could go make some copies of this because I do have it in a hard copy.
I have a hard copy as well, but unless you want to try to.
Oh, sometimes not doing much. Yeah, we can try to flash it.
No, it's frustrating. This is, I want to make some copies of this because I don't know. This sort of supersedes all the other.
And does,
This page curtain stuff and floor.
We talked about that, yeah.
he's having problems with his computer.
So,
Joining.
All that, I can't see who's here, but I guess it's Susan. Hi, how are you?
This is the presentation.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make copies of for some of the committee members.
Okay, great. This is rebooting, so I'm not sure why, but
Do you have too many tabs open, Rick? That's always my problem. I got like 50,000 tabs open.
Is this the right one?
Yeah,
just the two PDFs.
7:30, it's in
Let me see.
Double check.
Okay.
I can just keep hitting next if you want to do it off this one.
Till 7.
Okay.
Yeah, the late.
I don't think that's what the agenda says.
Which slide were you on?
Just a bunch of torture for an hour.
That one. Basically discussed this. So these are the items that are basically on your list, and we'll walk. So from all of the assessments, all the information that we had gathered, we basically came up with 14 different small projects that we do have pricing for. But the exercise was to given these 14 that we're going to go through, is there a priority that people feel this one's more important, whether it's the road connection or some of the others. So the first one is in front of the building itself. Can we provide a connector road for queuing and for stacking of vehicles? So that was one priority that we saw in all the information that we were gathering. The second one was to provide the outdoor space. This is right off of the cafeteria. It's not ADA accessible. Can we make it ADA accessible, have enough sufficient egress out of that courtyard? Number 3 is basically reimagining the space. So some of the images that we showed people in the last activity basically picked out what they liked, what they didn't like. That's under another presentation. And so really just to reimagine this new furniture, seating, a multi-age, multifunctional space. So you got the prices there. And then to another item would be to add the kitchen equipment. So we understand that there's a new dishwasher, a new stove, really for as an emergency shelter. These things perhaps are needed. Some air conditioning, not all air conditioning, but some air conditioning. Some air conditioning basically in the oldest portion of the building, in the classrooms. Acoustical ceilings in some of the classrooms. Number 6. Number 7 will be selective paving and stormwater work on the site. Number 8 would be new stage rigging, curtains, AV, but really bringing that up to a better condition than it is now. Brand new. Number 9 would be new gym floor. Number 10 would be selective exterior and interior improvements on the finishes, some window selections, wall finishes. Number 11 is reducing the opportunity. We've heard all these different things in the discussion of that, and this is basically the outcome of all those discussions. Reducing the out room, creating a new additional classroom there. Number 12 would be replacing some of the exterior doors. They basically, some of them are out of their life. Number 13 is adding additional electrical outlets in the classrooms. And then some selective deferred maintenance that are basically should really be done now and not wait. So all these items are basically a 5 to 7 year plan instead of the whole 10-year plan. And then there could be other items that we may want to add. So again, the point of this exercise is really if we go through them and just your own evaluation of what you feel might be the thing that really needs to be done now. And then basically 14 would be if you did them all numerically, 14 would be the thing that you feel, in a few years. Cheat sheet of what these things cost. You may have a different opinion about what you feel is important based on the price tag. But if you want to, see now you already have that, can you go to the next one? The connector road, we basically said, okay, there are, what we would design to would be about, $156,000. More, less depends on what we decide to do, whatever we decide. The exterior outdoor learning area. Bringing that up to ADA compliance, having additional exits out of that courtyard, roughly about 300. And again, we showed images of these things, which we're going to have no presentation for. So we kind of understand what likes and dislikes are in some of these spaces. Reimagining the media center, $750,000. Where the furniture and finishes really bringing it up to 21st century. Kitchen equipment, $150,000. Air conditioning, again, selected areas, $750,000. Acoustical ceilings on some of the classrooms, 210. So again, all these listed out, we're right under about 5 million. I think this would be for roughly 5 to 7 years.
Rick, are there any code violations in here that you have to address?
I'm not aware of any. But it hasn't been.
Yeah, we have a hard stop at 7 anyway.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lori, I was talking to Ride the other night, to Mario,
Oh,
and he wants to have a preliminary meeting with the building committee
Already?
requirement.
How are you?
What's this up?
Yep, he reached out to me, Mario, and
He said he was.
he reached out to me, and I'm so glad he did, because I looked at the schedule, the community engagement schedule, and it had a Tuesday, November 23rd meeting on it. And I said, no one will show up. It's the day before, we have the Wednesday off. It's the Thanksgiving. So I reached out to Phil and said that. I said, Phil, you need to change that. I need to bring in Mario, maybe early December. So Phil is going to replace the 11/23 meeting, community engagement meeting, with an early December one. And the minute he firms that up, I will reach out to Mario. I don't remember having, when we did the $500,000 upgrade, I don't remember having to host.
Yeah, it's a requirement. The Ride comes in and they just discuss housing aid and
It's just so much
projects.
more now.
Yep, yep.
Which is good, I imagine.
Yep.
So
We do have a hand up.
We do, okay.
Patrick McHugh, you can unmute yourself. Please state your name and address. Oh, you're still on an outdated version of Zoom.
Patrick McHugh, 231 John Dyer Road. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, real quick. I know you have a hard stop at 7. I just got 4 quick questions. The first one was the housing aid for 35%. Imagine that's a reimbursement, John McNamee. And I'm interested in what the incentives are. I know it says available. The second question was the connector road. I was wondering what that looks like. It doesn't have to be tonight. When you come to the council, maybe we can see that. And the audio, number 8, the audio visual system replacement. I thought we had already got a grant for that, and we were on schedule to do all that. So I found that interesting that we have an audio visual system replacement. Maybe that's 7 years down the road, 8 years down, I don't know. And 9, just for the gentleman that's there, to replace that gym floor for $175K. That's an overlay on that floor. So there's 2 floors there. I don't know if that ups the price or not. I just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks.
Jonathan, do you want to speak on item 8?
Yeah, no, I can clarify on that. So we are in the process of doing the gymnatorium upgrade, and a lot of the AV project was already planned and budgeted for up until now. However, in the process of evaluating all that, going through specs of what we need to do, we found a lot more issues with the rigging and the overhead electrical than anybody initially thought there was, I think, which is going to add some costs to it. So in order to save a little bit of money, hopefully for us, and still do it within the dollar amount we had budgeted originally, by submitting this project as part of this building plan, that makes it eligible for that reimbursement from RIDE. And that saves us presumably around 35%, hopefully more, right off the top of that project.
Jonathan, thank you for that.
Any more questions?
If I still have the floor, John McNamee, can you explain the reimbursement?
I can. So RIDE has a formula which they reimburse for capital improvements made by districts. The minimum reimbursement rate is 35%, which is where we're at now. Back in, I think it was 2018, when they changed, the legislature passed a law and it was in conjunction with the bonds, the $250 million bonds that they were going to issue, that there would be additional incentives provided for these projects. So things like the districts that were doing, example, newer and fewer, you were eliminating older schools and bringing on newer schools. It would be a 5% incentive. There is a 5%, I believe, for health and safety improvements. There's another 5% for educational enhancements. So I think that we have an opportunity to add at least 5 or 10% onto the reimbursement rate by utilizing these incentives.
Thank you.
And if there's no more questions from the audience, I will consider a motion from the building committee to approve the minutes from the October 21st meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. McNamee, second.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Whip. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. And I would consider a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all, and we'll be starting our regular meeting in 3 minutes.